Victoria Chen stood in front of her bedroom mirror, adjusting the emerald necklace that perfectly matched her silk gown. Tonight was important. The annual Metropolitan Charity Gala would host over 500 of the city's most influential people, and her husband, Nathan Pierce, would be receiving the Philanthropist of the Year award. She wanted everything to be perfect for him. The mansion was quiet, except for the distant sound of Nathan speaking on the phone in his study. Victoria had learned long ago not to interrupt his business calls. She checked her appearance one last time. Her dark hair was swept into an elegant updo, her makeup flawless but understated. Nathan preferred understated. He always said flashy women were desperate for attention. She walked down the grand staircase, her heels clicking against the marble floor. Nathan emerged from his study, looking impeccable in his custom-tailored tuxedo. He barely glanced at her. "Ready?" he asked, already heading toward the door. "Yes, you look wonderful, Nathan. Congratulations on the award." He nodded absently, checking his phone. "The car is waiting." The gala. The ballroom sparkled with crystal chandeliers and elaborate floral arrangements. Victoria recognized faces from magazine covers and news broadcasts, business tycoons, politicians, celebrities. This was Nathan's world, and she had spent 5 years trying to fit into it. She had given up her own career as a rising tech entrepreneur to be his wife. Nathan had insisted that his wife shouldn't work. It looked bad, he said. People would think he couldn't provide for his family. She had believed him, trusted him, loved him enough to sacrifice her dreams. Now she spent her days planning charity events, attending luncheons with other wealthy wives, and being the perfect accessory to Nathan's perfect life. "Victoria, darling," Caroline Westbrook approached with air kisses. "You look lovely, though that dress is a bit plain, isn't it?" Victoria forced a smile. "I prefer classic elegance." Of course, of course. Nathan is so lucky to have you. So supportive, so invisible." Caroline laughed at her own joke before floating away to another conversation. Invisible. The word stung because it was true. The moment everything changed. The awards ceremony began. Nathan took the stage to thunderous applause. Victoria watched from her table as he delivered a speech about giving back to the community, about using privilege to help others. The audience loved him. They always did. "And I couldn't have done any of this without the support of so many wonderful people," Nathan concluded. "Thank you all for being here tonight." He didn't mention her. Not once. But Victoria was used to that. What came next, however, shattered something inside her that could never be repaired. After the awards ceremony, the official photographer gathered people for commemorative photos. Nathan stood at the center with the award, surrounded by board members and major donors. Victoria approached to stand beside her husband, as any wife would. Nathan's hand caught her wrist. His grip was firm, almost painful. He leaned close, his voice low enough that only she could hear. "Not in this photo, Victoria. You don't fit the image we're going for." She froze. "What?" "You heard me. This is business. We need people who represent success, innovation, power. You're just my wife." Just his wife. The photographer called out, "Mr. Pierce, should we wait for Mrs. Pierce?" Nathan released her wrist and smiled broadly at the camera. "No, she was just leaving. Victoria has a headache." People turned to look at her with sympathy or curiosity. Victoria felt her face burning. She saw some of the other wives exchanging glances. Caroline Westbrook had that satisfied smirk people wore when they witnessed someone else's humiliation. The breaking point. Victoria walked toward the exit on autopilot. She couldn't breathe. The room felt too small, too bright, too full of people who had just watched her husband dismiss her like she was nothing. In the marble bathroom, she locked herself in a stall and finally let the tears come. 5 years. 5 years of making herself smaller, quieter, less. 5 years of believing that if she just tried harder, loved him better, became more perfect, he would finally see her. But Nathan didn't want to see her. He wanted a possession, a decoration he could bring out when it suited him and hide away when it didn't. Her phone buzzed. A text from Nathan. "Stop being dramatic. I'll see you at home." Victoria stared at those words. Stop being dramatic. That's what he always said when she tried to express hurt or disappointment. Her feelings were dramatic. Her needs were excessive. Her very existence was an inconvenience. She thought about going home, thought about apologizing for embarrassing him by having feelings, thought about tomorrow and next week and next year, an endless stretch of invisibility and humiliation. Then she thought about the woman she used to be, Victoria Chen, who built a software company from her college dorm room, who pitched to investors and won contracts and created something from nothing, who was smart and capable and alive. That woman wouldn't go home to Nathan Pierce. Victoria left the bathroom with her decision made. She stopped at the coat check, retrieved her wrap, and walked out of the hotel into the cool night air. Instead of waiting for Nathan's driver, she hailed a cab. "Where to?" the driver asked. Victoria pulled out her phone and called the only person she knew would answer at midnight without judgment. "Melissa, it's me. I need a place to stay tonight. No, I'm not going back. Not this time. Not ever." Her best friend from college didn't ask questions, just gave her address. As the cab pulled away from the glittering hotel, Victoria looked back one last time at the life she was leaving behind. The wealth, the status, the security. Nathan would say she was throwing everything away, but Victoria knew the truth. She wasn't throwing anything away. She was finally picking herself back up. Victoria woke up on Melissa's couch with sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows. For a moment, she forgot where she was. Then reality crashed back. She had left Nathan. She had actually left. Her phone showed 43 missed calls and 27 text messages, all from Nathan. She scrolled through them, watching his tone shift from angry to threatening to almost apologetic. Almost. Even in his apologies, he blamed her for overreacting. Melissa appeared with 2 cups of coffee. "Morning, how are you feeling?" "Terrified," Victoria admitted. "I have no job, no money that's actually mine, and nowhere to live." "You have me," Melissa said firmly, "and you have yourself. That's more than enough to start with." Victoria wanted to believe her. Melissa had been her roommate in college, back when Victoria was building her first tech startup, back when she was someone who believed in herself. "Nathan will make this difficult," Victoria said quietly. "He has lawyers, connections, power. So did you once upon a time, and you can again." The first week was the hardest. Victoria had to face exactly how much control she had given Nathan over her life. The credit cards were all in his name. The house, the cars, even her jewelry had been gifts from him. She had nothing that was truly hers except the clothes she had worn to the gala. She called her bank only to discover Nathan had already frozen their joint account. When she tried to access her old email from her previous company, she found he had somehow convinced the hosting service to lock her out. Nathan's message was clear. Without him, she was nothing. But then Victoria remembered something. Before she sold her company to marry Nathan, she had signed a non-compete agreement that had now expired. 5 years had passed. She was free to work in tech again. She pulled out her old laptop, the one possession Nathan had never cared about, because he considered her tech career a hobby. She logged into professional networks she hadn't touched in years. Her profile was still there. Victoria Chen, founder and CEO of Cloud Solutions, acquired by tech giant corp for $12 million. She had been someone once. She could be someone again. 3 days after leaving Nathan, Victoria received an unknown number. "Victoria, it's Robert Hayes." Her heart skipped. Robert had been her business partner at CloudStream. They had built the company together, presenting at conferences, working until dawn to meet deadlines, celebrating every small victory. "Robert, how did you get this number?" "Melissa gave it to me. I heard what happened. I'm sorry." Victoria felt tears threatening. "Thank you."
Listen, I have a proposition. I left Tech Giant last year to start something new, security software for small businesses. I could use someone with your skills, and you could use a job. Interested? Robert, I haven't worked in 5 years. I'm not sure I'm still any good at this. Victoria, you were brilliant. That doesn't just disappear. Come to my office tomorrow. Let's talk. That night, Victoria sat at Melissa's kitchen table with her old laptop, relearning programming languages she had once known by heart. Her fingers moved slowly at first, then with growing confidence. Code was like riding a bicycle. The fundamentals came back faster than she expected. Robert's office was nothing like Nathan's corporate tower. It was a converted warehouse space with exposed brick walls and mismatched furniture. Young people worked at standing desks, music playing softly in the background. Victoria felt something she hadn't felt in years: excitement. Robert showed her around, introducing her to his small team. Everyone, this is Victoria Chen. She's going to be consulting with us on the user interface design. Consulting, not a handout, not charity, real work. The project is a security platform for online transactions. We have the back end figured out, but the interface is clunky. We need someone who understands how normal people actually use technology. Victoria studied the prototype on his screen. Within minutes, she saw a dozen ways to improve it. Her mind came alive with possibilities, solutions, innovations. I can help with this. Give me 2 weeks. You have 1 week to show me something. If it's good, you're hired full-time. Victoria worked harder than she had in years. She stayed up late at Melissa's apartment, sketching interfaces, writing code, testing every function. When Melissa went to work, Victoria kept working. When Melissa came home, Victoria was still working. On the 6th day, she had something ready. Nathan strikes back. Victoria was presenting her redesign to Robert's team when her phone exploded with notifications. Her social media accounts, which she rarely used, were suddenly flooded with comments and messages. Melissa pulled her aside. Victoria, you need to see this. Someone had posted photos of her from the charity gala with a caption that made her stomach turn. Gold digger Victoria Chen caught cheating on devoted husband Nathan Pierce. Sources say she abandoned her marriage for another man. The photos were carefully selected to make it look like she was intimately close to Robert at his office. They had been taken through the window. Someone had been watching her. Nathan, Victoria whispered. He's trying to destroy my reputation before I can rebuild my career. The comments were vicious. People called her ungrateful, selfish, a woman who married for money and left when she found a better option. They praised Nathan for his generosity and patience with such a difficult wife. Robert appeared beside her. Don't read those. We know the truth. But potential clients won't. Investors won't. No one will want to work with me now. Then we work harder. We make your work so good that none of this matters. The presentation. Despite the smear campaign, Victoria refused to quit. She finished her redesign and presented it to Robert's team. The interface was clean, intuitive, beautiful, everything the original version hadn't been. This is incredible, one of the developers said. You did this in 1 week? I had motivation, Victoria said simply. Robert pulled her aside after the presentation. You're hired. Full-time, competitive salary, and equity in the company. Welcome back to tech, Victoria. She should have felt triumphant. Instead, she felt exhausted. The online harassment continued. Nathan's lawyers sent threatening letters about defamation and abandonment. His friends and business associates blocked her on every professional network. That night, Victoria sat at Melissa's apartment and finally let herself break down. I can't do this, she sobbed. He's too powerful. He's going to win. Melissa held her hand. Nathan has money and connections. You know what you have? The truth, and talent, and something he'll never have. What's that? The ability to survive without destroying other people. Victoria wiped her tears. Melissa was right. Nathan needed to control and diminish others to feel powerful. She didn't. Building something real. Over the next month, Victoria poured everything into Robert's company. She redesigned their entire platform, improved their security protocols, and created marketing materials that actually explained what they did in simple terms. The company started getting attention. Tech blogs wrote about their innovative approach. Small businesses signed up for their service. Investors started asking questions. And through it all, Nathan's harassment continued. More fake stories, more legal threats, more attempts to sabotage her professionally. But Victoria discovered something powerful. The more he attacked her, the less it hurt. Every day she spent doing meaningful work, she became stronger. Every small victory at Robert's company reminded her who she really was. She wasn't Nathan Pierce's wife. She was Victoria Chen, and she was just getting started. One evening, as she was leaving the office, Robert stopped her. "Hey, I've been thinking. This company needs a co-founder, someone who understands the vision and has the skills to make it happen. Interested?" Victoria looked at him, at the office full of people doing work that mattered, and at the future she was building with her own 2 hands. "Yes," she said, "I'm very interested." For the first time since the gala, Victoria smiled a real smile. Nathan had tried to make her nothing. Instead, he had freed her to become everything she was meant to be.
Victoria stood in front of the mirror in her small but comfortable apartment. She had moved out of Melissa's place 2 months ago, finally able to afford her own space. The apartment wasn't a mansion, but it was hers. Every piece of furniture, every dish in the kitchen, every book on the shelf belonged to her alone. She adjusted her blazer and smiled at her reflection. Today was the launch of SecureFlow, the security platform she and Robert had built together. 6 months of relentless work had led to this moment. Her phone rang. Robert's name appeared on the screen. "Are you ready for this?" he asked. "More ready than I've ever been." The launch event was held at a modern conference center downtown. Unlike Nathan's elaborate charity galas, this was simple and focused. Tech journalists, potential investors, and small business owners filled the room. These were people who cared about innovation, not image. Victoria took the stage with confidence she had forgotten she possessed. "Good morning. My name is Victoria Chen, and I'm here to tell you about a problem that keeps business owners awake at night." She spoke about security breaches, about how small companies couldn't afford enterprise-level protection, about how SecureFlow changed that equation. Her presentation was clear, passionate, and backed by solid data. When she finished, the applause was genuine. People lined up to ask questions, to request demos, to discuss partnerships. A journalist from Tech Innovation magazine approached her. "Miss Chen, I have to ask, you were married to Nathan Pierce. There were rumors about why that marriage ended. Care to comment?" Victoria had prepared for this question. "My personal life is private. What matters today is that SecureFlow offers affordable security solutions to businesses that need them. That's the story I'm here to tell." The journalist respected her boundary and moved on to technical questions. The offer. SecureFlow's launch exceeded every projection. Within 2 weeks, they had 500 business clients. Within a month, that number doubled. Tech blogs called it the most promising startup of the year. Victoria was in the office reviewing customer feedback when Robert burst through the door, his face pale. "You need to see this." He handed her his tablet, an email from Pierce Enterprises, Nathan's company. The subject line read, "Acquisition opportunity." Victoria's hands trembled slightly as she read. Nathan was offering to buy SecureFlow for $25 million. The email was professionally written, discussing synergies and market opportunities, but Victoria knew what it really meant. Nathan wanted to own her success. He wanted to control her again. "What do you think?" Robert asked carefully. "I think $25 million is a lot of money." "It is. We could both retire tomorrow if we wanted." Victoria looked around the office, at the team they had built, the company they had created from nothing, the future they were building together.
Then she looked at Robert. "I'm not selling." Robert grinned. "Good, because I wasn't either. Just wanted to make sure we were on the same page." They declined the offer that afternoon. The confrontation. 3 days later, Nathan appeared at the Secure Flow office unannounced. Victoria was in a meeting when her assistant knocked nervously. "Miss Chen, there's someone here to see you. He says it's urgent." Victoria knew before her assistant said the name. She excused herself from the meeting and walked to the lobby. Nathan stood there in an expensive suit, looking exactly as he always did. Powerful, polished, perfect. But for the first time, Victoria looked at him and felt nothing. No attraction, no anger, no fear. Just indifference. "Nathan, you should have called first. We need to talk, privately." Victoria led him to a small conference room. She didn't offer him coffee or a seat. She simply waited. "You made a mistake turning down my offer." "Did I?" $25 million, Victoria. Do you understand how much money that is? More than you'll see in your lifetime doing this. He gestured dismissively at the office. "I've already seen $12 million in my lifetime, Nathan. I earned it before I met you." His jaw tightened. That was different. That was luck. No, that was skill and hard work and belief in what I was building. Nathan moved closer, using his height to intimidate her the way he used to, but Victoria didn't step back. "You're being stubborn and foolish. This company will fail. Most startups do. Then what will you have? Nothing." "If it fails, I'll build something else. That's what entrepreneurs do." "You're not an entrepreneur anymore, Victoria. You gave that up when you married me." "I gave up being an entrepreneur. I never gave up being capable of becoming one again." Nathan's expression shifted to something almost vulnerable. "I miss you. Come home. I'll make things right this time." Victoria studied his face. He actually seemed to believe what he was saying. In his mind, he had done nothing wrong. She was the one being unreasonable. "Nathan, do you remember what you said to me at the gala?" "I don't recall the exact words." "You said I didn't fit the image you were going for, that I was just your wife." "I was under pressure that night. I didn't mean it the way you took it." "Yes, you did, and that was fine. It showed me the truth about our marriage." "Which was?" "That you never saw me as a partner. I was a possession, something you could display or hide depending on your needs." Nathan's face hardened.